Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most important battles in the history of India, the Battle of Plassey, and how it led to the establishment of the British colonial presence in India. We will also talk about some of the consequences of British rule in India. The Battle of Plassey is one of the most significant battles in Indian history. It was fought on June 23, 1757, between the British East India Company and the Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Daulah. The battle took place near the village of Plassey, in present-day West Bengal. The British East India Company had been operating in India for several decades, but it was only after the Battle of Plassey that their control over India began to grow. At the time, the Nawab of Bengal was one of the most powerful rulers in India, with a large army and a significant economic base. The British East India Company, led by Robert Clive, had a smaller force, but they were well equipped and highly disciplined. The battle began early in the morning, with the British East India Company's forces advancing towards the Nawab's army. The Nawab's forces had a significant advantage in numbers, but they were poorly equipped and unorganized. The British also had the support of several Indian allies, who were unhappy with the Nawab's rule. They managed to secure the support of one of Siraj-ud-Daulah's most trusted generals, Mirjafar, who betrayed his own ruler and switched sides during the battle. Mirjafar's actions were seen as an act of treachery by many Indians, as he had sided with the foreign invaders against his own countrymen. The phrase Mirjafar has since become synonymous with treachery or betrayal in India, and is often used to describe people who betray their own for personal gain. As the battle progressed, the British East India Company's superior firepower and tactics began to take a toll on the Nawab's army. The Nawab himself was forced to flee the battlefield, and his army was quickly defeated. The Battle of Plassey was a decisive victory for the British East India Company. It gave them control over Bengal, one of the wealthiest and most important regions in India. It also paved the way for further British expansion in India and established the company as a major player in Indian politics. The impact of the Battle of Plassey on India was significant. It marked the beginning of British colonial rule in India and led to the gradual dismantling of Indian society and economy. Under the British Raj, which lasted from 1858 to 1947, India was ruled by the British government through the East India Company. The British imposed their own laws and customs on the Indian people and exploited the country's resources for their own benefit. The Indian people were treated as second-class citizens in their own country, and many suffered from poverty, famine, and disease as a result of British policies. Economic exploitation. During the British Raj, India's economy suffered greatly. British policies such as high taxation, land revenue, and the destruction of indigenous industries led to a decline in the country's economic growth. By the end of British rule in 1947, India's per capita income was just 3% of that of the United Kingdom. Famines. Under British rule, India suffered several major famines, which were caused by British policies such as the export of food grains, high taxes on farmers, and a lack of investment in agriculture. The most devastating famine was the Bengal famine of 1943, which claimed the lives of an estimated 2 to 3 million people. Education. Although the British did establish a modern education system in India, it was designed to create a class of Indians who would be loyal to British rule. Education was largely restricted to the upper castes, and the majority of Indians remained illiterate throughout the British period. In 1947, only 16% of Indians were literate. Health. British rule had a negative impact on public health in India. The British introduced Western medicine, but failed to invest in basic public health infrastructure such as clean water and sanitation. As a result, India suffered from epidemics such as cholera, plague, and smallpox, which claimed millions of lives. Human rights. British rule in India was characterized by a disregard for human rights. The British treated Indians as second-class citizens in their own country, and many were subjected to violence, torture, and repression. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre of 1919, in which British troops opened fire on a peaceful gathering of Indian protesters, is just one example. The British Raj caused immense social, economic, and political upheaval in India, and its legacy is still felt today. The Indian independence movement, led by figures such as Mahatma Gandhi, emerged as a response to British colonialism and eventually led to the country's independence in 1947. In conclusion, the Battle of Plassey was a turning point in Indian history. It marked the beginning of British colonial rule in India and had a profound impact on Indian society and economy. The battle is a reminder of the complex and often violent history of colonialism, and its legacy continues to shape the world we live in today. Please like our videos and subscribe to our channel to support this type of content. Thank you.